Hey, how's it going, everyone? GC Performance here, back with another video, and today we're taking a look at the start of the 2025 bicycle industry, how things are going, where they're going to be heading. We're going to be talking about tariffs, bicycle inventory levels, the amount of used bikes that are out there on the market as well. Also, are there going to be corrections in the future? So in this video, I'm just going to kind of give you guys a sum up of how things have been going for our store, and then also touch bases on other things I've been seeing around the industry. Little small bits and pieces here that I can kind of touch base on to kind of give you guys a heads up of where this thing I think is going and also how it's been out there for us. So just to start off, first and foremost, thank you guys for everything that you guys have ever done for my channel. I absolutely love what I do here. This year, I'm planning to do a ton more content. I'm actually going to Sea Otter this year for a couple of vlog series, which should be fun, meeting a ton of new people out there. All the people that send me so much love on DMs and also emails and the questions and just the support, absolutely love it. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. It is one of my most fun jobs I have out there. I really do enjoy it. And without you guys, it would not be possible at all. So thank you guys much. And also, I will be doing much more riding content in terms of comparing and contrasting videos, showing some stuff, just new products and different kind of formats. I wanted to start that off at the beginning of the year, but things happen. The baby started to sleep regress. Kids got sick, but we're on track now and we have to get things going. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this video. So 2025, how's it been going for our store? Well, our store is in South Florida, where it is beautiful in the wintertime. We have a lot of tourism comes down, Canadians, New Yorkers, all these people come down to maybe their second homes or on vacations, because right now, at this day, it is January 30th. It is literally 72 degrees out, no clouds, and it's crisp, no humidity, is beautiful out, and it's a perfect time to ride. Tourism is definitely fuels our season here and usually brings in a lot of business. But definitely the start of January for this year, it has been way more quiet than things have used to been, obviously, even before the pandemic. I think a lot has to do with the election, the results, everything that happened. People are just kind of holding on to the money for a little bit longer and not going ahead and splurging like they used to. Also, a big part of our consumers were Canadians at that time too, and the Canadian dollar right now compared to the US dollar is definitely taking a crap. I think for 100 of their dollars, it's like $60 to USA. So our Canadian friends that used to come into our store, we're definitely not seeing as much of them. We still get them, and they're still riding, and the same people still come down, but they're just basically telling us, hey, we're not spending as much because it's not going as much as it used to for sure. So our inventory levels, our buying for bikes have not been what they wanted to be. We wanted to stock up on better bikes, but because we have all this excess of this older inventory that we bought and accumulated during the COVID years, we still have tied up cash in that area. Not saying that we're not moving bikes. Obviously, the newer bike models like the Scott Addict RC just released, the Tarmac SL8s always do well. But I've said this plenty of times that really the high-end stuff is selling for us. I had a conversation with another guy recently that he asked me, and I kind of gave him some insight on what really sells. We are in a high-income area, which we're very fortunate for that for our consumers. I wish I was there. I wish I was a high-income person. But we definitely feed, I would think, more towards the one percenters. So we sell way more of the higher-end stuff. There really is no conversations. There really is no walk-ins. There's someone just walking through your door looking for that $3,500 bike, that $2,000 bike. Hey, I got a bunch of spare cash burning a hole in my pocket, and I want to jump into cycling. What can we get there? There really is none of that looking at that $2,000 price range. And also, that $5,000 to $6,000 bike price point, it is hitting. And there's some people that are upgrading from that $3,000 price point to that $6,000 price point. But it's definitely more talks of the higher end stuff, like the S-Works, the Princeton wheels, the Dura-Ace, the SRAM Red, the people who have money that really don't feel the pinch right now. So we are still selling. We still are doing sales, and we're doing good. By all means, I'm not here just complaining and venting and stuff like that. We're still selling and doing our thing there. But in terms of the volume and in terms of the walk-ins, we also sell cruisers and hybrids and mountain bikes and stuff like that. Those have definitely taken a hit and they've fallen off. Luckily, they're not expensive, but they do take up a lot of space. Being a low price item, they take up a lot of floor space because of the fact that we need to stock a lot of them. So, yeah, so we're definitely slow there. Service has been good and decent, but we would love to see it way higher. With the influx of just competition, with people having the pinch and squeeze, people are lowering their service prices. There's a bunch of mobile pop-up bike shops. YouTube has definitely helped people do their service at home as well. So we have service for cruisers, mountain bikes, everything, high-end road bikes. But it seems like during that COVID time, a lot of shops opened up. And now there's so much competition going around that there's so many different options out there. If I tell them that maybe it takes 2 days to fix a bike, they might go down the street and get it fixed in 1 day. If I tell them the price is X amount of dollars, $90 to do a service or a fee or whatever, they might go down the street to get it for $70. So there's just a lot of going around where people want business because of the fact that there is no really demand there. And we're seeing less service than we would as well for this time. Again, we still have the service. We still have bikes in our stand. We still have work, so we're happy there. But we would like to see the numbers higher than what they were for sure. In a recent poll that was on Bicycle Retailer, they usually do these things every once in a while for like IBDs to go ahead and check out. There's a total of 430 votes. Basically said, retailers, your biggest concern as 2025 begins. Training employees, getting inventory, location lease, insurance costs, finding and retaining employees, increasing profitability. Obviously, everyone wants to be profitable. 130 votes for 30%. Consumer demand, 144 votes for 33%. This right here, increasing profitability, a lot of people are dumping bikes, dumping their inventory that they have because of the fact that there is no consumer demand to drive product and to get sales, to get profit. You are basically just selling your inventory to go ahead and retain that money back to then go ahead and pay your bills and buy new inventory. So a lot of the other options out here, I think the inventory stuff for a lot of the IBDs, they kind of got that on hold and got ahead of that because of the fact they saw where this is going. But they still probably have a good amount of money tied up into their store with other inventory as well. So they're definitely waiting on that that thing to go ahead and try to increase profitability. Everyone wants to increase profitability, but the biggest one is consumer demand as well. It definitely seems, like I said, the consumers are holding on to it and there's not as much demand like there was in the last couple years. For the first time in a long time, and I'm saying a long time, pre-COVID, 2018. Before 2020, you can go into any bicycle store, say you're looking for a bike, and I could go to my dealer website and I could show you, hey, you like this bike? I can get you this bike in this color and this size in a week. You don't like this bike? You want to go to the other bike? I can get you that bike in this color and that size in a week. These distributors and manufacturers would have inventories of all their bicycle models, full size run and full colors for you to choose from because that was their job to keep these in stock. And for the longest time, that was not the option. It used to be buy what you can get. They're out of stock. It's going to be a month. It's going to be 2 months. For the first time in a long time, I've seen from Specialized that they have pretty much all their bicycles in stocks from frames to almost a complete full size run, to their complete SRX bikes, to the complete pros, to experts, to base models, their mountain bike range, their e-bike range, pretty much any kind of product you want. Same with Scott. These Addicts just released. I didn't think you'd be seeing these Addicts for a long time. I can order this bike for stock in a medium in a pretty hot new release item bicycle and get it to my store within a week as well. So this goes across the board for components, for parts, for everything. Everything that I've seen has kind of returned to normal in terms of stock, and it's pretty obtainable to get unless it's those new release items like the Colnago Y1RS, which I just made a video on, which is slow to get their production date out. But that's always going to happen whenever a new product releases, especially with that kind of firepower. It's definitely going to be a longer wait for that. Like if Specialized release the SL9 tomorrow, there will be a wait for it and a long time period. But you're seeing a lot of people have a ton of stock in stock, and I am there for it. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. These are what these companies are supposed to have. They're supposed to be a company with inventory in stock to make sales. If there is no inventory in stock, then that sometimes hurts the sale, and that hurts that company. So they need to have product to make money, which is I like to see because obviously it gives us options and gives consumers to be able to choose the right bike and not just say, hey, I don't have this. You have to buy this bike X because of the fact of this is what I got. No, I like to say, hey, if you like this one, I think this is the best bet. If they're not happy for it, okay, well, let me show you other options. So options are always good for consumers because of the fact that it makes them happy at the end of the day. It's the beginning of 2025, and we're already seeing a couple stories about some layoffs, and also some companies going out of business, like this company right here. Not going out of business, but just they stopped with the inflators. This is parent company discontinuing Genuine Innovations, which they were a CO2 company that we actually sold in store, and they were in stock by JBI. They've been in business for 30 or doing it for 30 years, and one of the top CO2 companies out there on the market. But basically, just with time, with inventory, with all these other independent markets coming out, capitalism, people are just opening up. Specialized makes their own CO2s. Sure, Trek makes their own CO2s. Everyone makes their own CO2s. That it basically just kind of forced them out of the market. And this is, I think, kind of the running norm. These big name people that really had no competition back in the day. These companies are sitting there. They're saying that, like, a big name company like Cannondale or Trek is like, you know what, we can make that, and we could just sell it to our dealers, and that way they can just skip out on that. We can get more profit from that way. And same with Quality as well. Quality is a big time dealer, our distributor for all sorts of bike parts, from Shimano, SRAM, spokes, wheels, a bunch of different brands that you can go in and get. Let's say you're a store that doesn't have a big dealer line like the big flash name like Trek or Specialized or Cannondale. This will be for the smaller ones that have maybe like the independent brands. You can order whatever you want off here. Gloves, shoes, helmets, whatever the case might be. But definitely these companies like Quality, JBI, Holley, HLC have seen less and less ordering, less and less business because of the fact of less demand. And I can speak on this personally because of the fact that we do business with them and we buy from them and everything like that. And our business has slowed down from ordering them. 2 years ago, we were ordering parts that we were getting for repairs, parts we were getting for upgrades. Let's say Shimano didn't have something, I could order it off here. But that has since kind of slowed down now that these main guys have it in stock, or also just the fact that there's not as much repairs coming in for a 10-speed derailleur or a 9-speed derailleur or X amount of wheels or whatever the case might be. So this laying off 2% of its workforce, it's always sad to hear. I never like to hear people losing their jobs, but I think it's a normalcy because of the fact of just the inflated employee, the inflated amount of employees that these companies had. Obviously, they need to lower costs, and that was it. Do I think these companies maybe downplay this number a little bit? Maybe. I think it might be a little more than 2%. That's just me speculating. I have no idea, but it's just my case on there. But yeah, we're seeing more and more of these layoffs, and I think there's unfortunately going to continue to show more and more of these as well because of the fact of to manage costs on there. Now for the fun one that everyone has been asking for, with the new elected president, Mr. Trump, and the tariffs coming to the United States to go ahead and tariff on products coming into the United States. People are asking us, how is this going to affect our business? Bike prices are already skyrocketed through the roof. How is this going to change it? It's going to make bikes impossible to get. And my answer has always been this. During the 2020 time as well, that whole situation with when Trump was in office before, there was tariffs before that he put in place where these companies took effect to it. And basically, I know companies that were selling from their factories that maybe had in China, whatever that, they went ahead and they were smart because they're massive multi-million dollar corporations. They're like, okay, well, if they're going to go ahead and put tariffs there, we're going to open up factories over here. Like, for instance, they'll take their business out of China and put it into India, Cambodia, Indonesia, and stuff like that to kind of work around it. So yeah, they can still have their factories in China, but then what they can do logistically is go ahead and take that product and ship it to the other factories, or maybe put a lot of their multiple selling products out of those factories in Indonesia or Cambodia, like the smaller items or the smaller bikes, and ship a lot of those into out of there. So that way they kind of avoid the tariffs. So again, there would not be the full tariff costs, but there still is more money being spent logistically with shipping. So it comes down to that matter. And this article kind of sums up pretty good because everyone just thinks when you hear a 20% tariff that they're going to just price increase it by 20% or 60%. Basically, a 60% tariff does not equal a 60% increase of MSRP. The numbers are very rough, but for example, a bike valued at $1,000 at a port might normally retail for about $3,000 on the sales floor. A 60% tariff would add $600 to the importer's costs. By the time The importer, distributor, and retailer add margin, shipping costs. The eventual price on that sales floor might be up to $3,500 or $4,000. The huge increase in dollars, but percentage terms, it's 17 to 33%, not 60%. So, yes, there are tariffs in place, but that's obviously for everything that goes out there. But if your business or your industry is not producing and there's no demand for consumers, then those distributors will have to figure out ways to be kind of in front of it to go ahead and beat that price out. So they might have to eat the tariffs or figure out different ways to go ahead and cut costs within to go ahead and compete with that tariff to either keep that price the same or keep the demand there for the consumer by lowering their prices already. So I have a feeling that you're not going to see crazy huge price increases right off the bat because there still isn't that crazy demand for these bikes. So they still need to sell bikes. They still need to be competitive. And I think that we will still see. I haven't experienced anything that I've seen like back in the day during those COVID times. We will get emails. We will get paperwork saying, hey, tariffs happen, price increases, here's it coming. Hey, shipping costs increase, price increase, it's coming. We haven't seen those yet because of the fact that I think that there's still that lack of demand and they still need to sell bikes. So we'll figure out what's going to happen there, but I don't think it's going to be as high as everyone thinks for bicycles. And at the end of the day, you know, it's a bicycle. I'm sure there's other things to worry about that are going to be tariffed. So, but yeah, and even like that, they said China aside, a 20% tariff on imports from other countries could have less impact than the sometimes wild price fluctuations in recent years due to inflated costs like shippings or interest rates or currency exchange. So those could have way bigger impact than just a 20% tariff. So hopefully, let's say that there is no demand, the factories get slower, they're not shipping as much on boats or whatever the case might be. They might lower costs of shipping to get more business, and that could just equal out the tariffs. Who knows? I have no idea what I'm talking about. And for the last thing is price correction. Is it coming? And I think that a lot of these companies have already started to do so. And a lot of the big companies are kind of holding strong, like, we have money tied up into there. If we keep it at this price point, then we still have our dealers to go ahead and buy and we still get our money from it. But you're seeing a ton of competition out there right now pushing out bikes that are unheard of for the price points. Like Van Rissel coming in strong with a full Dura-Ace Di2, Swiss side wheels, World Tour bike, 11 grand. The Cube Lightning, absolute beautiful bikes. Dura-Ace Di2, I don't know how much. I think this bike's around like 85, 9 grand. I think they don't sell at USA. But again, World Tour bike, 8 or 9 grand. Direct consumer, I don't know. Canyon, full SRAM Force bike, $6,500. But then you even have the big guys out there. Trek Madone SL7 Gen 8, Ultegra Di2, Bontrager wheels, carbon fiber bar. I mean, this bike literally 3 years ago would be 85 to 9 grand. This bike is $6,500, and then now you have Cannondale still with a really strong price point out there. I see this bike a lot because of the fact of this price point, because of what they give you, and especially from a big brand name like them. Cannondale Super 6 Evo 2, $6,000, Ultegra Di2, their own hologram wheels, and a carbon fiber bar is one of the best price point bikes I've seen on the market for this type of bike. So I haven't seen Specialized. Specialized has like their Tarmac S8 for like 7 grand, I think it is, with Ultegra Di2 and C38 wheels. I would like to see it at 65, but you know, these companies are starting to get a little bit better at their mid-range bikes. Still, all their high-end bikes on the Western brand side are still that 14 grand, but I have a feeling that you're going to start kind of seeing that trickle down. But the demand's still there for the high-end stuff. Like I said, people are still buying that stuff and still upgrading to it. And the reason why you're seeing a lot of these mid-tier bikes and companies are starting to slash prices is because literally brands like this, Bicycle, Pros Closet, Cycle Limited, Bicycle Blue Book, whoever it is, have a crazy influx, saturated amount of used bikes out there. Facebook Marketplace, people that are either looking to maybe not ride as much, they're getting out of the sport, they're selling their bikes, people looking to upgrade. There is so much inventory of bikes out there that people are dumping. I've seen people bring me screenshots of Facebook Marketplace deals for like an S-Works SL7 for like $5,000 or $6,000 complete, which is still a crazy good bike. But because of the fact that it's not the recent model, the person is just trying to get out of it and then they upgrade to it. And again, usually the person who owns those really high-end bikes that are that crazy used price value are the uber rich. They can afford to take that price hit because they just want the new bike. And that's why you're seeing a crazy amount of bikes for a crazy amount of good deals. And also, I mean, Pros Closet, Bicycle, all these companies like this, they weren't as big as they were before 2020. They were big, but being used bikes, being easy trade-up programs, they really made it easy for consumers to go ahead and sell bikes, and then also just like a kind of a quick marketplace to get on there. So you're seeing more and more of these places become more efficient at selling it. So yeah, that's my 2025 take so far on it. We'll see what happens. We'll see how my predictions go. Obviously, I could be completely wrong about all this stuff, but I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of it because I see it daily and day to day and what we order. And this is just my take. If you guys are a bicycle shop, bicycle enthusiast, bicycle industry, any kind of take on this, hopefully it helps you guys out. If you guys like the video, go ahead and leave it a like. If you guys experience anything I want to talk about, leave it down below. And thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.